Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
at the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova. Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Oh boy. All right. If I had not waited the hour that I just waited to record, and if I went straight into recording after dropping 2 out of 3, 2 in a row to the Boston Red Sox in their first meeting against them this year, I probably would have come on here and said some very irrational, very unreasonable thoughts out loud. Stuff that I probably regret, stuff that I would probably get exposed for if my podcast had a semblance of an audience, and stuff that just wouldn't make sense. But since I waited a little bit of time, I'm calm, or not as pissed off, and I'm going to try to get through this episode for however long we go here with a more reasonable mindset. But we will talk about some things. We will talk about some problems on this team. We will talk about some of the things I think the Yankees really concern me in, some of the areas rather. Because yeah, they did lose another series, and they've been losing series lately. And unfortunately, you know, I know you have the Cleveland series in between here, but recently, you dropped a series to the Dodgers, which was kind of a wake-up call, kind of a humbling, kind of letting you know where you really are. And now you have a series loss to the Boston Red Sox, both of them being inside Yankee Stadium, not to mention. No. LA was in LA. But you get the point. You lose a series to the Dodgers, and you lose the series to the Red Sox, the first time you're playing each of them. It's not a good look for a team that's supposed to be a real contender. You know, and again, if I jumped on this an hour ago, maybe even a half hour ago, I'd be sitting here calling the Yankees a completely fraudulent team. In fact, I had to change the thumbnail from absolute frauds to are they fraudulent ? Or whatever ended up being ? At the end, because I needed to calm down. I'm not going to sit here and say they are not built for October. Now, at this very moment, sure, they're not built for it. But, you know, you do look at their schedule so far and what they've done and what they've not done. And you look at their record, and it's a decent record. It's not a great record. They're over 600. But then you look at this team, and again, they're losing to the Dodgers. They're losing to the Red Sox. Are they as good as the record says? Because they have beaten up on a lot of bad competition, right? They beat the Pirates. That's a last place team. They beat the Diamondbacks. It's a mediocre team. Milwaukee opening weekend. That's a mediocre team. They beat Toronto. That's a mediocre team. They beat Cleveland. The second time they played, they beat Cleveland. That's a mediocre team. They beat the Royals. That's a mediocre team who are coming up again this week. So You're beating up on a lot of shit teams in the American League here. And the National League teams that you've played, a lot of them have been mediocre. And sure, you beat a couple of good National League teams like the Mets and the Padres. But you also lost to some really good competition in the Dodgers, in the San Francisco Giants. Remember, you dropped 2 out of 3 against them. You dropped 2 out of 3 to the Detroit Tigers, an American League team, who you're going to have to get through. And now you lose 2 out of 3 to the Boston Red Sox in your first meeting against them of the season. The Red Sox, who could be the team, if there's going to be any of the 4 American League East teams, Boston's probably the one that's most likely to heat up, and you might have just woken them up. So it wasn't good. It wasn't promising. It wasn't really anything to instill confidence. Is it the end of the world? No. But does it raise those types of questions on how legitimate are the Yankees? Yeah. At least for the time being, yeah. So let's dive into the series here. We're going to talk about each game. We're going to go over some specific storylines after we dive into this series, just like we always do. So welcome to episode 875 of the podcast. Welcome to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. We do Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. I'm going to try to get some UFC out. It's been a bit. It's been over a year. But, man, that was a fun-ass card this past weekend. Anyways, let's dive into this series the moment we get back from our first break here in the pod. Stay with us here. Be right back.
Quick break here, guys. Stay connected with BD4 on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X at BD4Pod, and find us on Facebook by searching BD4. Don't miss out. Join the conversation.
Okay. Welcome back to the show, episode 875 of the podcast. So the first game of the series was the only game that we had fun in. The Yankees won on Friday 9-6 over the Red Sox. You had Warren going up against the righty Walker Buehler. Yankees fans very familiar with that name. The Yankee bats, though, they scored 9 runs on 14 hits. Offense wasn't the problem this series. 5 extra base hits, 4 walks, 3 for 15 in scoring position, 10 strikeouts. Against Buehler specifically, they got 7 runs on him in 2 innings before he was knocked out of the game. It was so nice to hit him. Obviously, him getting the final out there in the World Series. So nice to do so much damage on that bum who will probably be traded at the deadline this year. You know, in the bottom of the first inning, Jazz Chisholm and Anthony Volpe with a pair of home runs again. 5-0 right away. Bottom 2, Jazz with an RBI base hit. Volpe's hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Yanks go up 7-zip. Against the Boston bullpen, they get 2 more runs in the 6 innings that they went. Bottom 5, Judge with an RBI single. 8-1 Yanks. Bottom 6, it was Goldie with a solo home run to the porch. 9-4 Yankees. So, Judge goes 3 for 5, double RBI. Jazz goes 3 for 5 with a home run and 4 RBIs. Volpe goes 1 for 1. He was hit by a pitch, 3 RBIs, left the game after getting hit on the elbow. Missed 1 game, came back today. Wells goes 2 for 4 in this game. Grisham went 1 for 4 with a walk. LeMahieu went 1 for 3 with a walk. And Bellinger in this game was 1 for 5 with a double. That was your offense. Will Warren was good for most of the night. He faltered late, and we're going to talk about Warren's outing later. The bullpen, it was Hedrick, Cruz, Loaizaga, and Williams. Everybody was good except for Hedrick. And so that was your first game of the series on Friday, where the Yankees won over the Red Sox 9-6. Saturday, yesterday's game, the Yankees lost. And they lost this one 10-7. This was the Ryan Yarbrough game. He went up against the lefty Garrett Crochet. Yarbrough was horrid. 4 innings, 8 runs, 9 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, a hit batter, allows a home run, throws 67 pitches, and takes the loss. Yeah, he was terrible. And, Ryan Yarbrough is one of those guys where if he gives you good, it's a big win. If he gives you bad, it's kind of expected, right? And against a really good power-hitting Boston lineup, a really good contact-hitting Boston lineup as well, just a good Boston offense, despite the lack of name brand, they're going to hit a guy like Yarbrough. Because when you have, a low-velocity arm, and you're throwing pitches in the middle of the plate, in which he was, it's a recipe for disaster against Boston's top four. And even the bottom of the order was hitting. Like, top of the second inning, Gonzalez with a leadoff double. It was an 86-mile-an-hour four-seamer middle up. You had Campbell with a couple of at-bats later, an RBI base hit, 83-mile-an-hour cutter middle up, 1-0 Boston. Top three, the Yankees go up 3-1, but top three comes, Ref Snyder doubles off an 83-mile-an-hour cutter middle of the plate, puts runners on the corners. Toro picks up an RBI single off the same exact pitch, 83-mile-an-hour cutter middle of the plate. It's 3-2 Yankees. Then Story with the big 3-run double to clear the bases there. That makes it 5-3 Boston, puts them ahead. Campbell and RBI base hit, 6-3 Boston. Top four, Gonzalez hits a 2-run home run. It's a sweeper that Yarbrough leaves in the middle of the plate. 8-3 Boston. So when you don't throw hard and when you're leaving pitches in the middle of the plate, it's double negative. And that's exactly what happened. He got lit up. So is the Ryan Yarbrough insanity run over? I don't know. Am I excited for Luis Heel to return in a couple of months? Yes, because I want velocity in that rotation badly. The Yankee bullpen in this game, 5 innings, 2 runs. De Los Santos, we will talk more on his outing later. Mark Leiter Jr. was lights out. 1 inning, no runs, 1 hit, 3 strikeouts. Hamilton continues to be absolute sewer trash, putrid. The command is a joke. 1 inning, 2 runs, 3 hits, a walk, no strikeouts. The Yankee bats in this game, again, they scored 7 runs on 7 hits, 5 singles, 3 walks, 15 strikeouts. They were 4 for 9 in scoring position. Against Crochet, they got 5 runs on him in 6 innings. You should win a game when you do that. Bottom 2, the Yanks are down 1-0. Wells hits the 3-run home run to the porch. Bottom 4, the Yanks are down 8-3. Wells, RBI double. Reyes with an RBI. It's 8-5. And then against the Boston Pen, you got 2 more runs in 3 innings. You got the DJ LeMahieu 2-run base hit in the bottom of the 8th inning. That was before Ian Hamilton blew it. To make it 8-7 Boston at the time. So DJ goes 2 for 3, walk, 2 RBIs. Wells 2 for 4, double, 4 RBIs, a home run. Bellinger 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 stolen bases. But as good as the offensive production was, the top half of the lineup, or the top 3 really, gave you 0 production. You won't win games when your top 3 hitters go 0 for 11 with 6 strikeouts, no RBIs, and 1 run scored. And that was exactly what you got from Goldschmidt, Rice, and Judge. So that was that. Judge was getting attacked with the high heat all night from Crochet. And Goldschmidt's in a bit of a slump. Rice is hitting into some bad luck right now, but it is what it is. That was your second game of the set, where the Yankees lost again 10-7. We get to Sunday, tonight's game, on Sunday Night Baseball. The Yankees lose this one 11-7. Rodon against the righty Dobbins. Carlos Rodon goes 5+ innings, I think. 5 runs allowed, 3 hits, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed, 90 pitches in the loss. So he had been so hot because he's not been walking guys and he's not been surrendering home runs. 3 walks, 2 bombs. The velocity was definitely down a tick. He was behind in the count a lot to start the at-bat. But at the end, it was garbage fastball location. And that's going to yield 3 walks and 2 homers. Right, top of the 5th inning, he walks Rafaela. Yanks are up 2-0 at this point. Campbell takes the plate. 2-run home run off of a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, hard of the plate, ties the game, top of the 6th, after the Yankees retake the lead 3-2. Narvaez hits a 3-run shot. It's 95 up and in. 5-3 Boston. Jalen Duran after that, 2-run single, 7-3 Boston. So his location was poor, and he did not have it from the get-go. You could just tell. So he absolutely must bounce back. Has to have a rebound start, I believe, especially with the off day tomorrow. Although I don't know if the Yankees are going to use that day off. So he's either going to pitch game 3 against the Royals, or he will pitch the first game of the Fenway series. So the Yankees have to make that decision. But he needs to rebound wherever he pitches next, he needs to bounce back because that was atrocious. The bullpen, it blew the game. They blew the game. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not watch a goddamn second of this garbage after Rodon was pulled. The Yankees scored some more, but the bullpen blew it again. Lasagna got a second inning of work, and he did what you expect to do when he gets a second inning of work. And that bum Hedrick gave up more runs in garbage time. So that happened. The Yankee bats score 5 runs on 9 hits. Don't care. Judge hits a homer in the first, DJ in the 5th, Jazz sac fly, Grisham walk in the 6th. Judge hits his second homer of the game in the 9th inning during garbage time. He has 3 hits on the night. Volpe has 2 hits, a double. Made a bat out in the last inning against Chapman. Don't care. The Yankees lost this game. Very unfortunate that they couldn't do more damage against Hunter Dobbins, I think his name is. Obviously, this was the guy who made the comments before the game. If the Yankees were the last team to give me a contract, I'd retire. I'm not going to lie. I never heard of this guy. I do know J.K. Dobbins. Never heard of Hunter Dobbins. Don't know who he is. Now I do. Is he trying to be a Ken Griffey Jr. wannabe? I don't know. I kind of like it. I think it's good for the rivalry. Everybody wants to talk about how the Yankees-Boston rivalry is dead. Players are soft, this and that. Well, don't get upset when you hear stuff like this. I like it. You hate us, we hate you. I thought Jazz Chisholm said it perfect. We need more trash talk in the game. I agree. I like it. It's good for the Yankees-Boston rivalry. It sucks that it has to come from a random. Would have been cool if it was someone like Devers or Chapman, although I don't think he speaks English to the media. Yeah. Anyways, that was the 3rd game of the series that took place tonight. I hated everything about this series. I think the pitching was bad, and I think you should blame the pitching for that. I think the offensive production was obviously great, numbers-wise, and you can't really get too mad at it. I did think Aaron Boone's decision-making in this series was, to be kind, abominable. On Friday, I don't know, maybe pull him a little sooner. I thought refusing to remove Yarbrough from the game after throwing BP, that team was just teeing off on him. I thought that was kind of crazy. On Saturday, he goes with the punt lineup against Crochet. No Anthony Volpe, who mashes lefties. And if he was still banged up on Saturday, whatever. Sure, I'll give you that. But to go Pablo Reyes over Jazz Chisholm yesterday, and the Yankees always do this where when a guy just comes back, they try to ease him back and give him a day almost right off the bat. No. And I don't care if Crochet is a left-handed pitcher and you got left on left there. You're already without Volpe. Pablo Reyes can hit lefty or righty. And by the way, Crochet is a reverse splits guy, so not like it matters. Jazz is on fire. He was entering this game on fire. He was 8 for 18 entering Saturday's game. It's a cardinal sin to remove a guy who's hot. And he was playing great third base. Not to mention Reyes, who got the start over Jazz, commits a big mistake there late in the game, Cost the Yankees 2 runs at third base. Horrible decision. Play the hot hand. You're going to sit Volpe, play Jazz. You're going to sit Jazz, play Volpe. Make up your mind. You can't completely punt a game away. Dominguez gets 4 at-bats against left-handed pitching in this game. Time to scrap it. Either scrap the switch hitting gimmick. Would it have killed him to bat left on left against a reverse splits guy? So either scrap the switch hitting gimmick or plug in a capable right-handed bat. But I'm all for the former, by the way. You know my thoughts on Dominguez's switch hitting. Let the guy go left on left. I thought his bullpen management was sickening in this game. Going to Leiter in a 3-run game eventually forces you to use Hamilton in a 1-run game. That was a nightmare. And then I think going to Hamilton over Cruz or over Williams in a tight game, that was a nightmare. Did the same thing tonight. Didn't see Leiter. Didn't see Williams. And then you talk about tonight's lineup. There was no Jason Dominguez or Austin Wells, despite a right-handed pitcher being on the mound. Now, Wells is a catcher. He's going to sit, and he was beat up a little bit yesterday. I think that's kind of a soft mentality. I think we pamper them today, catchers. But fine, I get it. Dominguez, we just said it. Left on right, he's a really good bat. What are we doing at this point? Why are we sitting him once a series? I hope he re-injured himself, or I hope he's still injured, and that's the reason he didn't play. Maybe I don't know that yet, but that was unacceptable. And then again, he goes back to Loaizaga in this game for a second inning of work when that never works. He's 1, 2, 3 in the 7th, comes back out for the 8th, lets up 2 home runs. So I thought Boone's decision-making was piss poor, to say the least. Now, again, that's not to throw the blame off the bullpen, because this bullpen's not good. I don't think this bullpen's very good. I'm kind of done. Bullpen's kind of really bad. Like, we could talk all we want about the rotation being top-heavy with Fried and maybe Rodon. Despite the start tonight, Fried and Rodon have been great. I don't really care about the rotation depth, because in the playoffs, you're only going to need 3. So if you have Fried, you have Rodon, it's pick a number 3 between Heel, Schmidt, Yarbrough, Warren, etc. I'm not worried about the starting rotation. I think that's fine. The bullpen's bad. The bullpen is a 3.78 ERA this year. I think that's 12th or 13th in the bigs. That's not good. It's not good. Talk all you want about how they're taxed. They just need to be better. Because you're getting length from your rotation. The pen needs to be they need to be better. You know? It's just not a pen that I've ever had total confidence in. It's a bunch of off-speed specialists. Guys who rely on spin, guys who rely on break, guys who rely on getting chases outside the zone, right? The Yankees throw a lot of pitches outside the zone because they have 0 velocity and they rely on breaking and off-speed stuff. They don't have guys who throw hard fastballs. They don't have guys who can blow a fastball by you. Even Loaizaga has lost a couple of ticks on his heater. Even Hamilton has lost a couple of ticks on his heater. They don't have high velo guys in the bullpen. The Yankees don't have a single guy who's throwing 99. So I look at that bullpen, and like we said last episode, the trust tree is just very low for me. Outside of Luke Weaver, who's on the fake DL right now, there's nobody else I really trust. Like, I was going to say Nelson Cruz. Jesus. Fernando Cruz is kind of coming back down to earth. The league's maybe adjusting to his pitch mix a little bit here. He had a 1.37 ERA not long ago. That's jumped to a 3.46 ERA in a span of 7 games. So during this 7-game span where he struggled, obviously the injury has been in between that, 10 hits, 7 earned runs, 6 1/3 innings, 9.95 ERA. Very bad. Mark Leiter, I think he's been solid. Can't say I have a comfortable feeling about him at a big spot. He's also allowed some inherited runners to score. Blown save or 2 or 3 or 4. I think he's been solid, but I can't really say I trust him at a big spot, tie game in the 8th or something like that. Definitely not Loizaga. Doesn't really have a pitch mix for lefties. Wish he threw a changeup. Something going the other way. Hamilton's got good stuff, but he's got 0 negative fastball command. He's never controlling his fastball. Tim Hill, because he throws with no velocity, he pitches to contact. Because he pitches to contact, he gets ground balls. And because he gets ground balls, sometimes ground balls are just going to find holes. So I'm not always trusting of Tim Hill as a guy who can't miss bats. So I think the Yankees desperately need a left-handed reliever who can get both sides out. Possibly a guy with some velo, for fuck's sake. But I don't really know who's out there. Like Tyler Anderson is an option as a lefty reliever, but guy throws 88. Again, I think the Yankees had a chance to get some really good brand names. Like they had a chance for Josh Hader a couple of years ago. They had a chance for Tanner Scott this past winter. They had a chance for Andrew Chafin last winter. Off the cheap, too. But no, they want to keep trying to turn these randoms into all-stars. Like, you can only do the Matt Blake thing so much. You can only try to turn journeymen into all-stars or journeymen into above-average relievers so much. You can't make your whole bullpen out of Matt Blake reclamation projects. Right? And so, like, we're at a point now where, like, yeah, Loizaga back. Cruz is back. The only guy returning is Jake Cousins. Like, you need something else there. You need something else in that bullpen because this is not it. It's not a good enough bullpen. This Yankee bullpen is not getting the job done consistently enough. However, there is one guy who I think if we see him more and he continues to show some positive signs, I think this guy could I think he could find a role for himself bigger than the role he's in now. And it's the guy who I'm going to tip my cap to out of the bullpen. And that's Yerry De Los Santos. Tell you what, man, I like what I see from this kid. He's a 27-year-old Dominican right-handed pitcher. Now, he's not to be confused with the De Los Santos the Yankees had last year. That guy sucked. But this kid, I think they got him from Pittsburgh, or they might have DFA'd him. I don't remember how or when they got him. I know it was this past offseason, but he's looking good. He's got a 2.40 ERA in 15 innings so far. Again, a lot of those are, medium, lower leverage, but he looks good. I can see him working his way into a higher leverage role eventually. Right now he's flying under the radar. He's kind of Luke Weaver 2024 early on, right? He was kind of just toyed with, wasn't really a big name yet. But he's got some good stuff, man. He's got a live arm. I just think he needs to pound the zone a little more because he does walk a lot of guys. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys, so that's not the greatest formula. But he does keep the ball on the ground. He gets a lot of weak contact, a lot of ground balls, kind of a lefty version or a righty version of Tim Hill, but with actual velo and movement. He gets a lot of chase. He avoids the barrel. And he's got a perfect pitch mix to tunnel with. Hard two-seamer with run that he'll go to righties with. A changeup with great drop that he goes to lefties with. And he'll mix in the slider to play off the hard two-seam. And then when you combine that with that arm angle, it's a very tough arm angle to pick up. It's like low 3/4. Imagine seeing a two-seamer out of that arm slot and then having to pick up a slider out of the same arm slot when it looks like a fastball out of your hand. It's tough. I think the kid looks good. Now, he pitched on Saturday. 3 innings, no runs. 3 base runners, but he struck out 2. He pitched the 5th, 6th, and 7th, saving the bullpen for today's game. Not that ended up mattering. But top of the 5th, He works into and out of a first and second jam. He issues 2 walks, but he gets Devers to ground out on his changeup. 6th inning, he works a 1-2-3 against Boston's 3-4-5 hitters. He gets Refsnyder to ground out on a 2-seamer running low and in. He gets Narvaez to strike out swinging on a slider, 2-seam slider, 2-seam sequence. He gets Gonzalez to ground out on a 97-mile-an-hour 2-seamer backdoor. Comes back out and works a quick inning there in the top of the 7th. He gets Story, or he gives up a single to Story with 1 out, and then he gets the ground ball double play off the bat of Rafaela. He throws him a 2-seamer low in the zone. So I've always loved me a good sinker baller, especially a guy who could throw that pitch hard, and someone like De Los Santos who gets ground balls with a better Yankee infield defense. And maybe if they tap into that changeup a little more, he can get more whiffs. But, yeah, I think this guy's intriguing. I would like to see where it goes with him. He was just recently brought back up 5 days ago or 6 days ago. So hopefully he stays around. We'll see. Cousins is returning soon, so he might be the one to go. But, he has the options, so we'll see. But I'd rather it be Brent Hedrick. But, yeah, that's now the second time this season we're tipping our cap to Yerry De Los Santos. So good for him. I want to go back to the first game of the series where the Yankees beat the Red Sox on Friday and tip my cap to Will Warren. I couldn't give it to Rodon. He was awful. And I definitely wasn't giving it to Yarbrough, who was worse than awful. So why not give it to Warren, who got the only win in this series? And he was fine, right? 5 1/3, 4 runs, 3 hits, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, 1 home run, 84 pitches. Again, took the win. He looked really sharp for 5 innings. He did. I thought he was on his way to another good start. But then he lost the zone with both of his fastballs in the 6th inning there against Boston's lefties. Top of the 6th, you have the Jalen Duren leadoff triple off of a hanging sweeper. But then Devers walks on a bunch of fastballs out of the zone. Abreu picks up the sac fly to make it 7-1 Yankees. And then Narvaez walks on a bunch of fastballs out of the zone again. And then Torres walks on 3 straight 4-seamers out of the zone to start the at-bat before he went off speed and walked him. That's when he gets pulled for Hedrick, who couldn't hold the inherited runners on. So he did lose the zone. And lefties continue to be a problem for him. I still think he'll be fine. For a rookie number 5 starter, he'll be fine. The ERA on the year doesn't look good at all. I do think it's a bit inflated because of that Dodger start. Remember, entering that start, he had a low 4 ERA. He was pitching fine. He had a good stretch there. He's got good stuff. I think people need to just take their eyes off the stat sheet sometimes. And when it's a young pitcher, just look at how good or how bad he looks. Tell me the baseball aspects of it. These aren't robots, okay? These aren't statistical models. If a young pitcher's out there, I just want to know, what does his stuff look like? And if you have the amount of strikeouts that Will Warren has and the amount of innings that he's pitched this year, like, he's got a good K rate. That tells me his stuff is fooling batters. That tells me he's doing something right. That tells me there's something there. Is he going to be an ace? No. Is he going to be the next Michael King, like half of Twitter will have you believe? No. But I think he could be a good, at the very least, major league arm, whether that's in the back of the rotation or maybe that's out of the bullpen. I'm willing to let Will Warren be the number 5 star the rest of the way. And I think you should be willing to give him that leeway too, because I think he's earned it. I do. What else do you want from him? He's doing what he's expected to as a rookie. He's struggling. He's peaking and valleying. He's been fine. So I'm tipping my cap to Will Warren for the 6th time this year. Aaron Judge, to tip our cap for the final time this episode. Aaron Judge, again, the bats were really good this series, so you could have gave it to a lot of guys. Aaron Judge went 6 for 13, So he's back in the 400 race with himself. I think he's batting 396. He had 5 RBIs in the series. 4 of them came today. He had a walk and 2 home runs. All of that came today. 10 times now. That's his 10th time where we are tipping our cap to him. Judge has been just remarkable. What else is there to say about Judge? You know, it's almost annoying because he's been so good and he's always so good that, like, it gets to a point where a lot of Yankees fans will get confused with Judge being so amazing, and they'll confuse that with Judge being the whole team, which is so not true. Because, again, there's a lot of depth on this team. A lot of the guys at the top of the order are being really good. Goldschmidt's been great. Rice has been great. Bellinger's been great. Right? And then you got guys contributing in the middle of the order, like Dominguez has been fine. Volpe's been fine. And then lately, you know, your weaker bats, who have been problems for you all year long, are starting to heat up a little bit, right? Even underwhelming players like LeMahieu and Peraza has been a little bit better. But, you know, important bats like Jazz Chisholm, Austin Wells, they've been very good lately. Jazz Chisholm entering tonight, a .444 batting average, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 3 stolen bases since the return. A lot of base hits. The power is still there. He's been a menace on the bases, not just stolen bases, but he's advancing bases. He's flashing the athleticism at third base also. Austin Wells. Good signs. Good signs from Austin Wells. You know, I've been expecting him to get better, and he has. Now, the big thing with Austin Wells this year, when he's been struggling, it's because he's chasing a lot more this season. Chasing a lot more, walking a lot less. But the at-bats have been better lately. Against Crochet last night. Left on left, right, bottom 2, he jumped first, pitch cutter up in the zone, homer. Pulls it to the porch. Bottom 4, really good at-bat. He fouled a pitch off, took a tough fastball, doubles off 96 in the gap. And in his last 11 games, this was entering tonight, since the Colorado series, 12 for 40, 300 batting average. Couple of doubles, couple of homers. That's a 500 slug, 8 RBIs, and a stolen base. He's driving the ball the other way, in the gaps. Pulled the homer last night. I mean, it's all about the quality of at-bats. It's all about that. But on the season, he's batting .222. This was entering tonight. With a .288 on base, a .107 OPS plus, 36 RBIs, 10 home runs. So he's 5th in OPS among catchers. He is 3rd in RBIs among catchers. And he's 2nd in home runs among catchers. So he's trending upwards. And I like the fact that he's still hitting the ball pretty hard this year. Even harder than he was last year when you look at the StatCast metrics. But the one thing I still need to see is I need to see him stop chasing and start walking more again. Because that used to be his thing last year. That used to be what he does. That's what he does. Right? And even during this stretch of when he's been hitting, even during this good stretch, you haven't seen a ton of that yet where he's walking. He's only walked in 6% of his plate appearances in his last 11 games. But he's getting hot, and last year around this time he got hot also, right? Remember, he started the season slow, really started to turn it on in the summer there. So maybe he's just a streak hitter. But listen, if you get this kind of production from an elite framing catcher, that's a win, right? This is a win. So between Wells and him and Jazz, these are 2 very important lefties. If you have both of them going, with Bellinger now hitting, that's massive. And now Bellinger, who's been raking against left-handed pitching, and Wells, who's hitting lefties this year. Wells against lefties entering tonight, 779 OPS. Last year, 526 OPS. Remember how big of an issue that was last year? At the point, there was a point earlier in the year where Wells just wouldn't get reps against left-handed pitching because it had been so bad. 779 OPS against lefty pitching. That's not bad at all. And again, you got guys on the bottom like Peraza, who, yes, he only has a 573 OPS on the year. not including today. I don't think he played today. Did he play today? No. But, he's been showing some life lately at least. Last 4 games, couple of walks, 4 hits, 375 on base. Last 8 games has a 710 OPS. You like the quick bat. You like that he doesn't chase a ton. He can walk a little bit. He can find the barrel, sweet spot. The expecting slugging percentage is not terrible. But he's not hitting the ball super hard. The at-bats are pretty short sometimes, and the results are just not there consistently enough, and I'm not sure I'm expecting him to turn it on anytime soon. DJ LeMahieu, again, the standards are low, but he looks healthy. He's moving well. He's been fine at second base. He's squaring the ball up. He's hitting the ball harder. He's not chasing, not swinging and missing. He's walking. And this season, his numbers are now respectable. 258 average, 333 on base. This series, he went 4 for 10, couple of walks, the home run today, 3 RBIs. So, I'm not expecting anything of this. I think at the end of the day, we're going to get back to talking about DJ should be cut. But it's nice. Still, the Yankees do need a third base badly. They need a third baseman very badly. It can't be what we've been doing. Whether it's third baseman, second baseman, they need a right-handed bat to play infield for them. Because this is an unserious rotation that we've been going through at third base all year. The Vivases and the Perazzas and the Mayhew, Cabrera, etc. cannot keep doing that. Bo Bichette is a name I've been looking at for a couple of weeks now. Shout out to my guy Russ from at NY Yankee Dad. He's got a podcast, Beat of the Bronx. He put out the idea on social media a couple of weeks back that the Yanks should go after Bo Bichette, right-handed bat who Toronto probably will move. So we'll see. That's it. Up next, you got a day off tomorrow, Monday, and then you begin a 6-game road trip. You're going to Kansas City, and you're going to Boston. 3 in KC, 3 at Fenway. Kansas City is, again, a mediocre team, a very, very mediocre team. I expect the Yankees to handle them, get the damn job done. We'll see. So when we get back here from break, we're going to get to our trivia to wrap it up. Stay with us.
Want more BD4? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and never miss an episode. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share with your fellow fans. Don't forget to ring that bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops. Love BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch? Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and keeps the conversation going. Want everything BD4 in one place? Head to our website at bd4blog.com. You'll find links to every podcast platform, social media, and even our blog, where we dive deeper into all things BD4. Check it out now and stay connected.
All right. Welcome back to the show. I appreciate you all tuning in. The Yanks, horrid, just horrid in their first series against the Sox. To let a terrible team in a terrible city even win one game is disgusting against you. But to let that city enjoy two wins against you is gross. Go Celtics though, right, Boston? So let's wrap this up with our trivia, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, so for this episode, our trivia question, Russ Lickey actually got the last one correct about most leadoff home runs in Yankees history, the top 3. Jeter, Soriano, and Henderson, I think it was. So shout out to him. In this episode, our trivia question, Who managed the Yankees to 8 pennants and 7 World Series wins before retiring, only to unretire and almost manage the Red Sox to a pennant? All right, I'll say that one more time because it's a bit of a long one. Who managed the Yankees to 8 pennants and 7 World Series before retiring, only to unretire and almost manage the Red Sox to a pennant? So let us know the answer. That's it. I got to get out of here. It's getting late. I need to get this episode up, and I need to go to friggin' bed because I'm tired. I'm tired of talking about this Yankees team right now. Need a break from them. Need them to start winning baseball games again because that was fucking disgusting. Appreciate you all tuning in, though. Thanks. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.